Hello and welcome to We Never Met, the podcast where I have an interesting stranger on every single week. Today I have Ethan
Keister.
I was wondering how to say your last name.
Yeah, I'll start out of the gate right now by saying that's going to spark some debate from where I'm from with people.
Why?
My last name is spelled Keister, so it's Keister.
Yeah.
But the proper pronunciation is Keister.
Where's it from?
It's German,
Okay.
actually. I myself am not German. My father is. And yeah, no, he pronounces it Keister. I don't know why he does that to himself, honestly.
That's true.
But it's like a big debate between
is
members
it?
of my family.
Really?
Like his side, they say Keister, and then he's the only one in our family that says Keister. I don't know why.
I feel like, when you're going through school, that's like the worst thing you could...
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I found out when I was like in third grade, like what it meant, because like I come from a very, very small town, and so we had like one video rental store, where you could like rent video games, like the PS2. I would like take video games out for that.
Sure.
And it was on the back of a Simpsons video game. It's like Hit and Run. It's like
I played that game. Yeah.
I love that game. But on the back, I was reading it, and it said, like, step up your game, or set your Keister meester, or something like that. And I'm like, whoa, wait, what is... Oh, that's my last name. And I went home and I like got the dictionary. And I was like devastated because it said, it's like, the very official was like the rear fleshy bottom part of a person's hand or something.
Dang,
I'm
that's
just
my
like,
last name.
Oh crap.
But that's surprising that no one ever brought it up to you up to that point.
No, I know, especially like in middle school and stuff like that.
That's usually when that stuff comes out.
So when I moved to Milwaukee, I was like, oh, it's Keister now, I couldn't get away with that in my hometown, but whatever. It didn't really give me problems or anything like that. So
well, that's good.
It's just kind of funny, like, I'm going to move.
It's funny that he's the only one that says it differently.
It's so annoying. It really is. It's really...
come on.
And he was telling me, he was like, it used to be Keister, but it was like it was a Ellis Island kind of thing where it was like, when
they change your name a little bit.
They change it a little bit because they're either too lazy or they were just like trying to speed up the process. And, people scribble on their names in that book. So they just kind of, I think they put an I or something. I was like, Keister would have been much better.
You guys really should have.
Just in my regard, I'm like, man.
You should pay attention to detail at that point. That's how my last name's Kierkegaard. It's a Danish last name, and it's not spelled the same way as it is in Denmark because of the same reason.
Oh,
like they came over and like when they came over and signed their name, like they screwed it up a little bit.
Oh,
so,
okay. Yeah. Because there are two A's in it, correct?
Yeah. There's two A's.
It's very, I was thinking kind of Nordic or something like that. Yeah, that's cool. Man, their names over there, like, this isn't Denmark, but like Iceland, like Reykjavik or something. That's nuts.
Like, their pronunciation of stuff. I heard that's like the hardest language to learn in the entire world.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I feel like just based on the city pronunciations.
Yeah, one of them. That's crazy.
So anyways, back to you.
Yeah, sorry. Kind of already off on a tangent.
Yeah. So you are an illustrator, a designer, you're an art director. Mm-hmm. When did this all start for you? Like, when did you become interested in illustration?
Well, as a kid, every kid draws.
I drew poorly, I tried.
Yeah, every kid draws poorly. Let me correct that. But it's like, as you grow up, people just kind of like, you learn to be embarrassed as a kid.
Yeah.
As you grow into like middle school or high school, you start drawing and people are like, that looks like crap and stuff like that. I was never an amazing illustrator, but I had...
But your stuff now is amazing, though.
I had an eye for, just kind of... attention to detail and stuff like that. It wasn't like rendered right, but people saw something in it.
Yeah.
And I guess I never had the it was just something I did. Like I just kind of in my free time I would draw instead, like while watching TV, or just not watch TV and draw in my room or something like that. And it just kind of evolved. I got really like into, I think I was like, I was still in middle school, and I got really into Gary Larson. The Far Side. I don't know if you know that.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's a very old comic strip from like the 80s, and it's like single panel gags, and it was just very sick and twisted humor. I am a sucker for that kind of stuff. Like one panel, you might, if you Google it, it'll have a image, and it's like it's like Midville School for the Gifted, and it's a kid, and he's going to school, and he's trying to push the pull door open. Yeah. So it's very, it's very satirical.
Yeah.
There's one, it's like a cow grilling burgers or something like that. Just very crude drawings, and I love that stuff. And I was like, well, I want to be funny like that. So I started drawing these really crude single panel, basically a ripoff of The Far Side.
Yeah.
And
don't tell him.
I won't. Gary Larson, if you're listening.
Yeah, I did do it.
And then I got really. It was in high school that I got really into design.
Okay.
So on the side, as I was like drawing and making these cartoons and making people roll their eyes, my superiors roll their eyes, and my math homework would get sent home to my parents, and it was like, well, maybe if he paid attention instead of doodling in the margins, he'd have better grades.
I think that happens for a lot of people that draw at school. Yeah.
It was I was the guy with the like doodling on the desks and stuff like that. It was just so school's boring, and you just want to
especially when you find something that you really like to do and that you're like really
and
you just want to do it all the time.
Yeah, and I had a really supportive art teachers and everything.
Yeah.
But I kind of, I wasn't like in the art room all the time.
Sure.
I kind of, my town was kind of not really into the arts, of course.
Where'd you grow up?
I'm from upstate New York.
Okay.
And I have to preface upstate, not New York City, but
yeah.
farmland.
Okay.
It basically looks
like
the
how
same
far
as
like
around
Ithaca,
here.
like further Buffalo, like how far up are
like
you talking?
I'm in between Buffalo and Rochester.
Okay.
So if
So
you were to like
quite far up,
triangulate, triangulate like Buffalo, Rochester, and Ithaca, I'm like right in the center. So like the Finger Lakes region.
Okay, gotcha.
Beautiful area.
Yeah.
It really, I kind of took it for granted growing up there.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah. And but it's very, it's farmland. I grew up like across a field. My driveway was like 1.5 miles long.
Really?
Well, about half mile, not a mile and a half.
But it seemed like 1.5 miles when you were younger.
Yeah, it really did. Get in the mail in the winter was awful.
Oh,
like,
I
that was
bet.
a chore by itself.
Because it like dumps snow up there.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's we're on the other end of the Great Lakes, so we get that other kind of lake effect.
Yeah.
And we just get hammered sometimes. It hasn't been bad, but that means because everyone's used to it, snow days are rare.
Yeah,
everyone's just like, you know how I'm driving this? Go.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. You're fine.
Yeah.
Like, just shovel yourself out.
Yeah, just do it. So growing up there in like drawing and stuff, when did you start taking it seriously?
I got really serious while I was in high school in that design class. I think I was like a sophomore, and we were learning like logo designs.
Yeah.
And they kind of introduced us to the Adobe Creative Suite, so like Photoshop, Illustrator. Yeah. I didn't know what InDesign was at the time. InDesign is like a publication tool, basically.
Well, that's a good school if they introduced you to that early, because I didn't know about any of it until college.
Yeah, they were pretty bootleg programs. I don't. They were pretty old. They were like CS2 or something like that, one of the very first. Yeah. And I decided to take it upon myself, and I liked the program. I love Adobe Illustrator. That was kind of a game changer for me in illustration. And I remember going home and like bootlegging it off the internet, like like a newer version, like CS4. Yeah. And I was like, I'm taking this. And it was like the site like turned to Arabic or something. I'm like, oh god, good thing I'm using my parents' computer. Yeah. And
they'll get in trouble.
Yeah, sorry guys. No, I didn't do that in my lecture.
I swear.
I swear. Yeah, no, and that was, so I was playing around with that. Yeah. And I got really into logo design. I got really into like, I didn't really know what I was going to do with it, but I kind of had this plan to like move and uproot myself since like 8th grade. Like I just wanted to get out of my town.
Just done.
Yeah, I wasn't like checked out or anything. Yeah. I still have good friends there and everything, but it was time. I needed to get out. My parents are very good travelers. Okay. They're very they'd pull me out of school to travel. They'd take me, we'd go on like to Mexico and stuff like that. Oh, cool. So smaller trips. But they kind of taught me the value of like seeing outside of my town.
Sure.
Kinda. And, it's
an important one.
It's very, very important. And, I would learn stuff and I'd come back to school. Mm-hmm. And I could be like, oh, yeah, we'd be talking about world history. I'd be like, yeah, I did get to see that in like Vietnam or something.
That's really cool.
So,
you went to Vietnam?
Yeah, I'm originally from Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
I was born there. I was there for about I was 14 months. So
Okay.
I'm adopted. My parents adopted me when I was 14 months. And yeah, that's hence the last name, my German last name.
Yeah.
My mom's Polish, my dad's German.
Okay.
I think there's a little like Dutch actually in there.
Oh, yeah.
in his side, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like once you get up in like the European vibe, there's all different stuff in there. You know what I mean?
Same with Asia. You know, it's I actually took a DNA test not too long ago, like one of those like 23andMe type deals.
Sure.
It was just a Christmas gift myself because I don't really have any lineage. I don't really know anything about that. So I'm actually half Filipino, and I had no idea. Like it kind of told me. I don't know how accurate those are.
Sure.
But you know, it's interesting, and it's not too surprising because it's all in that same area.
Sure.
So cultures mix together. So
yeah.
But yeah, no. I hope I answered the question.
I just like it's very interesting to me. So, you've never met like your biological parents, I guess you could say.
Nope.
No.
No.
And there's never been any contact or anything.
No, it's theorized that she was a pretty poor woman living on the outskirts. I was born in the north, Hanoi, Vietnam. It's theorized that she didn't have the means to take care of me, or you know, kind of that type of deal.
Yeah.
And when I was 16, my parents took me on a trip, and some other people that I know from Vietnam. It's interesting because I grew up in upstate, and then when my parents were in Vietnam getting me, they met another couple that were from Scranton, New York.
Oh, really?
Shout out The Office.
Yeah. Michael Scott, where you at?
Yeah, cue.
Yeah.
Cue the theme music right now. But they're from Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is like, I don't know, 2.5 hours from us.
Yeah.
And my parents connected with them. And so growing up, going to like family reunions, we would invite these people who had, you know, these kids, 2 of them were my same age.
Sure.
And we were actually in the same orphanage together,
Oh,
which is
really
that's really cool to have that same connection.
It's so close.
It is. Yeah. And I think my parents thought it through, and they were like, well, it's good that he has someone with that connection to his past. So, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
But, you know, stuff like that, those small little connections and relationships that kind of form how you think and who you are, and then it translates into other things like art and design and photography.
Yeah. How was Vietnam? I've never been, but
man, go. It's amazing. I love the culture. I'm not culturally Vietnamese. I'm about as culturally Vietnamese as you are.
Well,
and you know,
you're probably way more than me, I would say.
Maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
I learned how to count to 5 there, which I still cannot like really comprehend. Like, the language is just so it's difficult. Any kind of Asian language, learning any language is difficult. But
for sure,
it's it was really fascinating because when I went there, it was kind of like I felt like an alien in both worlds, kind of like I felt like, you know, it's not like I didn't fit in or anything in my hometown, but I knew, you know, I don't look like Rob or whatever. I don't like this. Like,
I mean, sure, it's a lot of white people in upstate New York. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Not the most diverse place. And that's fine. It's, you know, it is what it is. And you know, I had a lot of kind of not alienation, but just kind of odd instances where I would see a kid like my age. And I'd be like, oh, that could have been me, kind of type.
Yeah.
That could have been like, you know, if certain kind of events didn't unfold, that could have been really different. My life could have been really just in a different world, really. Yeah. But no, going back to your question, it is really green. That's something everybody comments on.
Yeah.
It is really the people are nice. Like the whole culture, the whole kind of mindset is to forgive and forget, kind of move forward. Their economy, when I was there in 2011, was booming. So they had all these. Hanoi was different. The city I was born in, the hospital I was born in was not there. It's a freeway now. Oh, really? Yeah, my parents were like, that should be the hospital, but we think that's here. Yeah, the orphanage is now like a shoe store. Like, really? Yeah, it's. I mean, that's good. It's progress. Yeah. And you know, you don't want a lot of orphanages in a world. Sure. Yeah. But it was. It was. It's beautiful, and a lot of people I know have been going recently because the airfare is not bad. So.
Yeah, I'll have to
look up prices. It's not. parts of it have changed. You know, of course, cities are booming.
Sure.
I love the food they eat, like pho, the Vietnamese soup. They eat it like 24/7. So if you love it, like, they eat it for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So go there.
Go there. Yeah.
Yeah. Because in high school, I learned one of the foreign languages offered was Japanese, and I'm like,
cool.
I'll
That's
take
really
that.
cool.
Yeah,
we just had French and Spanish.
Yeah, we had French, Spanish, German, and Japanese, and I'm like, I'm like, I'll just take Japanese. Sounds cool. Like, I'll take that one.
Amazing. Do you know any? You know, do you
barely?
Okay.
So I took it for like 5 years, and even in high school, some of the kids got to go to Japan, which was awesome.
Nice.
And like that's another place I've really wanted to go.
Really want to go there too.
Yeah, just based on seeing and learning about like the culture through like the 4 years I took it in high school and stuff. And
it's so diverse there. Like the islands, like it's an archipelago, but the islands like stretch north. So it's like you don't think about this, but there's like mountains and skiing. Like powder skiing.
Yeah.
Like
which is bizarre. You don't ever associate that with Japan.
Don't like, and I don't know if they have a ski team or anything, but
yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna go skiing this weekend, but now it's like 45.
It's like gonna all melt. Yeah, it's gonna be slush.
And like yesterday, it was like subarctic temperatures.
Yeah.
Like, so
are you a big skier? Do you?
Yeah. I used to be on a ski team in high school. I wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't. But it taught me a lot of good form in just recreational skiing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I just wanted to be on the slopes during the winter and just bum around with my friends and stuff.
I mean, if you're in upstate New York, you might as well
exactly
ski.
Rolling hills there. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it gets you all out. It gets you out of like cabin fever and Ricky Bobby. I want to go fast. So
and then if you're on the ski team, you won't crash into trees and stuff. You have control.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's the biggest key was learning that control.
Yeah.
I can't stand people that are just bomb the hill and have no control.
Just straight.
Yeah.
And then they try to stop and they just fall.
I'm like, you can do that. That's perfectly fine. But just be aware of your surroundings. If you're the only one on the hill, dude, kamikaze.
Yeah, go for it. But there's small kids at the bottom.
Small kids, not cool. Don't put other people in danger.
Yeah.
But skiing between poles and stuff like that. That was a good way to kind of learn control. At a very, it just made me a better skier overall. But
so you do that here too, or? Where
I haven't really skied that much in Wisconsin.
Okay.
My buddy was a ski instructor, like a ski patrol.
Oh, okay.
Like those
guys that go down the hill and like
make
sure
carry
everything's
the
fine.
sled and everything. And so he got like a free pass and to this very small hill. It's called Osblick.
Okay.
It's very, very small, very private. I could not afford a day pass. I was in college at the time, and I'm just like, I'm here, like, but the hills were tiny. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But it was, like I said, good to get out.
Yeah. So, just back to your drawing and illustration and stuff. I feel like you have a very unique style.
Thanks.
And that probably developed from when you were talking about, when you're a kid and trying to emulate the Far Side comments and stuff.
Yeah, I think I really look at concepts more.
Okay.
Of course, I'm trying to dial up my technical skills.
Yeah.
That's an always progressive thing that I want to work on. I'm not a very good realist. Like I like observation drawing, but I can't really render something realistically that well yet. I would never say never, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just something that never really interested me.
And by that you mean like looking out at like a person and drawing them like as they would look outside,
as they would, and
or try as accurate as you could.
As accurately as possible. I try to get the form and figured out.
Yeah.
But I'm not like Chuck Close, who's like a really famous like portrait artist. It's like hyper realistic.
Like you can almost not tell if it's a photo or not.
Exactly. Yeah. That stuff fascinates me. I love it. It's just when I try to sit down and do it, I don't have the patience to kind of continue to go with it. But that doesn't mean I don't want to learn the techniques, because that could, kind of go into other things I'm trying to do with other aspects of my illustration. But it's very my work. I really like sci-fi. I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. Yeah, and I've done some traveling in my days. So I try to take what I see on in my travels and kind of like think about like, that's a really cool scene. Like that guy's like milking the cow or something in the pasture. Yeah. What would that look like in the year like 2186 or something? Yeah. Like, I don't think it would really change that much, but clothes would change. Like the tools he would use to like milk the cow would change, but kind of staying to that humanness of sci-fi.
Yeah, because there was a picture I saw. It was like it was like someone carrying a wagon or something. Not carrying,
Yeah.
but like dragging, and then you changed it kind of into something else.
Yeah, that was actually a photo I took in Vietnam.
Oh, really?
Back in 2011. It was so the original photo was this farmer kid, like this kid who was like, I think it was like 17 or something. I saw him on the road.
Yeah.
And he had like this motorized engine. Like, I mean, yeah, of course it's an engine, but it was like, I can't really describe it well, but it looked like it was being pulled. Like,
Yeah.
like the cart was like a mechanized version. It was just the most oddest like tractor I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And the kid looked very solemn, like it was just a normal day for him, which it was.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take that and like, okay, maybe the cart that he's pulling is a hover car.
Yeah.
Like he took parts of it and like kind of just bashed it together and like, but the front part is still wheels and
Sure.
like this very crude tractor.
Yeah.
But the back part is very futuristic and like stuff he found or something.
Yeah.
So, you know, it kind of forms its own story that way.
Yeah.
And trying to kind of form a narrative.
Is that what you like to do with your drawings? Kind of do that?
Yeah,
inform
I
a narrative?
like to give people that kind of flexibility to kind of put their own story into it.
Yeah.
I think that's what good art. I'm not saying that mine's great art, but like,
Yeah, no, it is
good
good,
art.
though. It's
Good art
great.
makes thanks, man.
Yeah.
Good art is kind of allows you to kind of put your own interpretations into it. And if when somebody says like that's confusing, I don't get it. It's like, well, maybe you're not putting your own story enough into it.
Yeah.
It's like a vase, you know, you kind of fill it with your own kind of experiences. You can make a pretty vase, but you know, you got to fill it with like flowers or something.
Yeah, yeah. Do you, because you said you're very into sci-fi stuff, is there other types of art that you like are really into that maybe necessarily doesn't reflect your personal style?
Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, it's not just sci-fi. I like, you know, I'm a huge comedy nerd. I love stand-up comedians. I like how they perceive the world.
Yeah.
I love a lot of Japanese artists actually, and a lot of like he's not Japanese, he's South Korean, but there's this artist. His name is Kim Jung-ji.
Okay.
He's like a rock star in like the illustration world. He can just take a piece of like. He doesn't need observation. He just has a visual library. He drew from observation,
seriously?
and he can just take like a drawing. Like he just recently did this giant mural that's probably as big as like your wall here.
Wow.
And he just started out with like ink marker and inks and drew Steve Aoki, that famous, you know, producer, DJ, fighting Bruce Lee on a tiger. And it's like
From memory? He didn't even...
From memory. Like,
Yeah.
he just does not need to look at, like, reference. Like,
Or like what he looks like or anything.
Yeah.
He just knows.
he just knows. Like, and he's, you know, it's like a time lapse and everything
Yeah.
on Instagram. And it's just, it's mind boggling. And it's different crazy perspectives.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have people flying over, like, a city. And, like, the skyscrapers have every detail in them in New York City. It's insane. Like,
That's crazy.
And, you know, that's why drawing from observation is so important, is to
Yeah.
kind of gain that visual library, which is kind of what I'm doing more and more now these days.
Yeah.
When I was in school, or even I started doing it way more in college, just going out in the city and just drawing just what I see, being kind of creepy and drawing people, but you know, hey, they don't see. Sometimes I'll lock eyes, like
oh no.
and then
You
just
know.
like look at deer that lights. You're like, I'm gonna finish this real quick, but you know, you gotta just stay still.
Yeah. Don't move.
Don't move.
Yeah.
And but you know, his interviews are just like, I drew relentlessly in my 20s. You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to parties, I wouldn't go out. I would just sit in my room and draw, or go out in Korea where he grew up and just draw. It's like lifting weights. It's kind of like, you know, it's very slow progression.
Sure.
If you're patient, you have to be patient with it. You have to be very you have to practice right. You know,
Okay.
you have to know how to, like, you know, just like you have to, like with weights, you have to know how to, and not that I know anything about weightlifting, but
I mean, it's okay.
but you know, you have to be very, very methodical, and you have to know what to work on. Like, you have to
Sure.
look at your weaknesses, and you have to like for example, I can't draw cars, but
Okay.
the only way I'm going to get better is drawing cars.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Darn it.
Darn.
So what do you think that you are really, really good at then on the flip side?
I think I'm really good at like capturing people's emotions, or
Okay.
like just like I'm very good at very expressive faces.
Yeah.
With expressions, it's, you want to be subtle, but you want to be vibrant at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what's his the guy that did Looney Tunes. Man, Chuck Jones.
Okay.
Chuck Jones is like the master of subtlety in like animation.
Yeah.
The master of like subtlety with Bugs Bunny and like his
Sure.
expressions.
Yeah.
And just kind of like the raised eyebrow kind of type look.
Yeah.
Like the expressive, like not even just like expressions in between, like somberness or being really tired, or just kind of those. I really enjoy drawing people like that.
Yeah.
And you're not going to see someone out in the wild, quote, like doing those kind of expressions.
Yeah,
It's mostly
sure.
just going to be like staring at their like book or reading or something like that. But you try to like, you try to capture like what they're feeling inside or something like that, maybe.
Do you have any ambitions to do more animation stuff and like get into that kind of realm?
Yeah, I am. One of my best friends in college, she is one of the most talented animators I know, and we are kind of like teaching each other.
Okay.
We'll do like Google Hangouts now, like we kind of started it this year actually.
Oh, cool.
So she teaches me a little bit like After Effects, which
Yeah,
is another
yeah.
Adobe suite. And just kind of like she does her animations like frame by frame in Photoshop,
Oh, wow.
which she taught me some like very basic like ball kind of animation movements and
Yeah.
stuff like that, like dropping the ball and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and letting it bounce. So I did a animation of that, very crude, but kind of getting into the rhythm. It's about building patience as
Yeah,
well.
I
Not,
bet, 'cause it's
not
a
only is
process.
it building visual, a visual library, it's just making sure you can just sit there for like 8 or 9 hours at a time and just
Yeah.
crank this kind of stuff out. And then I'm teaching her like design and stuff like that, just like typography, basics, like basic typography. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like piggyback, like
That's
when
awesome,
you're
though.
when you're in college, like school, or I was fortunate enough to go to a good college, like a good art school.
Yeah.
And it's like art school. Yeah, there's a ton of YouTube videos that say like, oh yeah, you don't need art school.
Yeah.
But art school is really there to teach you how to teach yourself.
Yeah.
It's really about teaching discipline.
Sure.
And then, of course, in design, it's like the courses of be professional and,
Yeah.
basic layout skills.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely. So do you think, like, what would do you want eventually to do with those animation skills? Like, what would you want to create animated wise?
I really, honestly, I really love like movie titles.
Okay.
End titles, movie sequences.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool to have a job where you just design beginning credits.
Okay,
Like, and,
yeah.
And like you can just tell a good movie is going to be cool just by the amount of time and effort people
Sure.
put into the titles.
Yeah.
Into the title credits.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if you know
yeah.
that movie.
Yep, I do.
Just a great like beginning sequence.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens like a few minutes into the film, but
Yeah.
it's just very vibrant. You kind of get the vibe of what this movie is going to be.
Sure.
So I love that. I mean, that combines everything.
Yeah.
Like that combines, film, it combines music, it combines typography skills,
Yeah.
layout, and, in some instances, illustration. So
Yeah.